each chakra, and just to give you like a little overview of it. I have children with special needs. They don't speak, and I have one that, aside from not speaking, he's also autistic. And I feel like I have a lot of telepathic communication with them.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Earth Awakening. Today I'm thrilled and excited to speak to Celia. Celia Mina, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How you doing, Carolina?
Thank you. Very good. It's been nice with you already since we've been talking a while. So
Yes.
let's get started with this amazing talk. First of all, I would like to know more about you, your path, your story, and how you came across spirituality and how that shifted your belief systems.
Yes. So my life is kind of interesting because I come from a bank, or I say a number background, because I work a lot with numbers. I worked in payroll and I worked at a bank. And I also work as cashier, handling money. So from there, from coming from the corporate job, I ended up having a pregnancy, a triple pregnancy. So I have triplets. And that totally changed my life because, I came from working 9 to 5 and having more of an office job than, transforming myself into a mom, full time mom, and being at home 24/7, right? So that totally changed my life. And when my triplets were small, I started learning a little bit about Sadhguru. Sadhguru is an Indian guru, and he does meditations and yoga and a lot of other things. So I started getting very curious about his meditations, and I started practicing them and experiencing a lot of things. So that's part of like my hints of awakening, and learning things in here and there. I've always been drawn to everything that's metaphysics and mystery stuff, and those kind of things that is like, why, ghosts, things like that happens, and you're like, why is that, there's got to be something in there. um and it didn't start getting stronger until the pandemic hit. And what happened to me was that I have a friend that was going through a real hard breakup with her partner, and she was having a really really hard time. So I started like helping her. She was like, talking to me about it, and telling me a lot of the things that was happening to her. But I started experiencing all of her feelings in me, and it was really weird because up to that point I never really felt it that way. And I was like, wait a second. I don't have any problems with my husband. I don't have any problems, in my current life, but I was feeling everything that she was feeling. And it was becoming very overwhelming for me. I felt like I was going crazy and I didn't know what to do. And so that drove me to my other step in the spirituality, to really start paying attention to these things and really start to studying them. So I started to study with the Brazilian people, and they call the Spiritist Center. They have many in Brazil, and I started studying with them and learning a little bit more in depth about, what was happening to me, why, the spiritual war kind of connects with us, and how those things are, we can't really ignore this part. Even though if we don't see it, we can't ignore it. So I started learning a lot. I started with them for about 2.5 years, and then continue, assisting their meetings afterwards. But then I started moving on to other things, such as tarot, yoga, and mediumship, like listening to mediums or channelers online. And also I started practicing mediumship on my own, and I started doing tarot readings to other people. So that started breaking up a lot of the beliefs that I had from when I was growing up, because I grew up as a Catholic. And for a Catholic, these kind of things are 100% prohibited, right? So I started learning a lot of other things, and my life has completely transformed, and it's still transforming. I know it is, because for me to say on a video that I do tarot is, it's something that I would never do before. I was like, no, I don't want my mom to find out. I don't want anybody, because of the beliefs that I have.
Oh my God, is this your first interview? Like, is this your coming out of the closet, of the spiritual
I
closet?
Yes, I want to say it is, even though I've been kind of hinting in my YouTube channel. But I finally got over it, and I'm like, okay, because I've been helping people with my tarot readings, and every time that I do a reading, they kind of, like, you can see the person is like, wow, like, so I'm like, I'm helping these people, like, it's not like I'm, you know, bringing bad spirits, or, something, I don't know. So, yes.
Awesome.
So
Thank
I
you. I feel honored. Thank you very much. This is amazing. I love it.
yes, yes. I'm very excited because I also signed up for a women's organization that is based in Colombia, but it's international. And they do workshops for the women so that they can, learn about their spirituality and connections and emotions and things like that. And I signed up with them so I can give workshops with them. So that's another step towards that, following my path, following my true self. And I feel, finally, I feel like I'm doing what I am meant to do. Does that make sense?
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So this is the beginning of something. I know it, and I was like, wow, and it's interesting because once you finally decide to look that way, towards your path, everything synchronizes. Like Bashar says, everything starts synchronizing. And you came out and you're like, oh, I want to interview. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I had, other people doing some works for me too, spiritual works. And I was like, everything lines up. So yes.
Yeah, people start meeting each other.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, and I met you a while back, but we never really connected until now that I decided that this is my path.
That you're ready to
Yes,
follow it.
yes. Mm.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So, in regards of your belief systems, so you're a recovering Catholic, as they say. Uh,
Yeah.
what what were the belief systems that you had previously? You know, this fear-based, dualistic kind of, oh, this is bad woohoo stuff.
Yes.
To yeah, where you're at
To
right
now.
now.
Well, a lot, a lot of belief systems. How women should be, how women should be with their husbands, what is expected from a woman, what is expected from a religious woman. So what I'm saying with that is I was following my mom's pattern, like I wanted to have a traditional marriage. I wanted to, serve my husband, you know, have a clean home, kind of like the typical model of a woman, but that was taught to me, and it is taught in the religious system, oh yeah, women should be this when they even show you parts of the Bible, on how women should. So that's a lot of the conditioning that I had, and I still have, because I'm still working on it. I remember in previously we talked about patterns, following patterns from parents, and so a lot of my mom's patterns I was following in that sense, So I've been kind of breaking that, little by little, and I know that a lot of those is religious based, So one area, right? On how the women should behave, how the women should, what should do, what should not, how you have to be quiet. If you are mad, you should not show that you're mad, that you're angry, because that's not how a lady should behave, right? So, a lot of emotions we repress. That's why we have a lot of anger inside and we don't realize that. Or that's why we cry so much, because we don't realize that we're carrying with a lot of emotions that we're repressing, right? Because of the conditioning that we had. Another type of conditioning is um, social wise, how what is expected from you as a Catholic. For me, Catholic, but for other person will be a different religion. In a society way, how you can you do you have to behave with others, and how do you represent your religion towards others? So, in other words, it doesn't allow you to be yourself. It doesn't allow you to express yourself and just be yourself, you know. And the main thing for religions is, with things like this, mediumship, reading cards, what they call it, divination systems, is 100% prohibited. They don't want you to learn about these things. And the main thing that I found out is because once you start, these are all permission slips. It doesn't matter if I use cards, if I use a candle, if I use a coffee cup reading, or anything. It could be just me sitting and just receiving messages. It doesn't matter what it is. What it matters is that we understand and know that we have a deeper connection with the divine. And that's what they're trying to, I feel like they were trying to prevent us from having. I don't think it was meant to be in a bad way, to be honest with you. I think it was meant to be kept from us a little bit because we were emotionally not there yet. That's what I feel. That eventually, as we started, how from children you start, there are certain things that you don't want them to see or to know because they're not in the mature level yet. And then later on, you introduce those things to them, like for instance, you're not going to talk about sexuality to a child that is 5 years old, right? You will probably talk to them a little bit about it, kind of like, this is your body, you need to protect your body, things like that. But the explicit things about sexuality, you keep it for when they're older and they're a little more mature to understand that, right? So I feel
Give them
like,
the information they need at that
yes,
stage in life. Like they
yes,
don't need to know how to approach the act in
exactly. You
when
you
they're
don't need to
5 years old, they might need
exactly,
it
yeah.
later at some stage
Yes,
when they are
exactly.
really
When
deciding if they really want to do that.
when they are there, yes. So I
Yeah.
feel like religion kind of had that meant to be that way, but of course, men started using it towards their advantage. And religion have a lot of history on how powerful men started tweaking things around in the Bible and in the scriptures and started using it towards their advantage because they knew people believe, so they were using their beliefs against the people. Oh, you're gonna be punished if you do this. Oh, if you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so it started getting very corroded, you know. So I feel like at the beginning it had a good intention and then it just twisted around and it started becoming more of a negative um, you know meaning towards it. I don't have anything against religion. I feel like the people that I still are in there and feel like they have a religion with them is because they need it. They need that structure. But eventually, once they start realizing and growing up emotionally or spiritually, then they start realizing that they don't need a religion to connect, to have that connection with the divine. And then they start opening up and breaking those patterns and those beliefs that they have from this conditioning that they had in the religion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, yeah, your experience is really,
And the
yeah,
reason
it's
the
different to mine, like, for example, my breaking out of religion was different slightly. Like, I grew up in Colombia the first years of my life until I was like, I don't know, 10 years old or something, 11. And in Colombia, I was attending a school, a Catholic school of nuns, right?
Mhm.
So I was basically totally into Jesus and the angels and everything,
Yeah,
obviously. I mean, yeah, I'm still into that today, just
yes,
differently.
yes,
Um, yeah, very much differently. But kind of um, growing up, I was totally like into that, but I usually tended to realize that living the words that were spoken was not so much the thing to do, kind of, you know? Like, for
mhm,
example, when you would attend to as on Sunday, there's
mhm.
this
The
event.
mass.
How's it called? Yes, the mass. Sorry. Thanks. Well, there I am. Yeah, well, you go to the mass on Sunday. Sorry, really. I have only good intentions. It's just, I don't know the word in
Yeah, it is.
English. So, well, going there and then sitting down, and it was like they were reading and singing, and sometimes the priest used to give his sermon and out of his own experiences and talk a little bit about how he experienced this kind of things. Those were the sermons that I liked. When they brought something, yeah,
Yes,
something tangible into the conversation. And
yes.
I realized and noticed that most of the people didn't want to even listen to that. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
speaking
Mhm.
between each other. You know that. You have
Yes,
seen that so many times, right? It's like common, I guess, right?
yes,
So it was like, A, this is the first sermon that is nice because he's doing something really tangible to give you
mhm,
a grip of what he is meaning and how to utilize those
yes,
amazing tools that we're listening to, you know. So let's just engage into that and just grow, together. But mm-mm, people were just talking between themselves, and I
yes,
was a little bit disappointed, and I was small, at that age, and it was
yes.
like,
And it's people that are there just because they are conditioned to believe that if they don't go to mass, then they something bad is going to happen to them. So they go just because they have to, go. They have to go, but they don't go because they really feel, or it's it borns in their heart that, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to mass. I'm gonna have this connection with the divine. I'm gonna, listen to the songs and connect and feel, feel. Because, why are you going if you're not listening? Why are you going if you're not feeling? You might as well just not go, right? But they have this conditioning and believing that, oh, I have to go because it's bad if I don't go. Yeah.
yeah, well, I was just thinking, like, I don't know, it's like I never asked anybody why they are talking between themselves, so I cannot know what they were thinking, or
Yes.
whatever. But like, I remember that, why did I go? Well, first of all, yeah, it was like basically the common thing to do, right? So you
Hmm.
you go, you just go, right?
Yes.
So okay. Then it was like, I want to really listen to something. Maybe they really have something to offer. Like,
Hmm.
what is it that you guys are really offering here? So if it's
Yes.
development of some kind, then please, show
Yes.
me. And yeah, then there were also times where I went when I had not behave the way that I should have, or kind of, you know. And then it was like, oh my God, I need to go now. So funny.
Oh yeah,
And
because you feel that you're gonna get redeemed from those things that you didn't do good.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly. So
redemption.
I know that one. I know that one
Yes,
too.
yes.
And then, you know, but I was thinking, you know, the reasons why I went there only led to me wanting to listen to whatever they said. You know,
Mhm.
if it was redemption, I wanted to listen even more.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean, right? So it's like
Yes, yes.
I couldn't, I couldn't, yeah, you know, come up
Religion is
with an
something that
explanation.
religions is something that I enjoy reading and learning about, like reading about different kinds of religions and everything. And I'm gonna tell you why. Even though we know that they condition us a lot and everything, but religion uses a lot of rites, a lot of rituals, a lot of a lot of these things that we learn and understand under metaphysics. They use it a lot. So for instance, we both grew up Catholic. um the sings, the chants, you know how the church are structured, so that the sound when people are singing, it resonates and it becomes a vibration that is higher, and that's why they want a lot of people in the church singing at the same time, because it raises the vibration. So when it raises the vibration, then that's why people feel that connection with the spiritual. The spiritual is not going to discriminate whether you're a Muslim or you're a Catholic or you are a Christian. If people gather and they are united into that chanting, then the spirituality is going to be there. And that's what people feel, that connection in the church, or, wherever you are, that when you sit down with people to meditate, you feel the same thing. They feel connection, when you start chanting with those people. Rituals that they use, for instance, candles. They use a lot of candles. They have the element of fire in there. They have a lot of things that they repeat and say, because it has a lot of, their specific words that has a lot of vibration in it. So um, it is interesting because they use a lot of these metaphysic things, and at the same time they don't want to teach the people and say, okay, but you can do this too, you can, you know have your own altar at home, and whatever. So yes, I understand that area also, that of the church or the religion, to you know to prevent people from really learning these things. And a lot of that has to do with the control, because they don't want to trust that the people will do good with those kind of things, because once you find out that the power that you have and how you can transform things, and the power of your mind, then your life will transform, because now you're very careful with what you say, what you think, and what you share with other people, because you're transforming all the time, you're creating all the time, and you're not giving that power away to an institution, a church, a religion. You're taking that into yourself and the responsibility for it. That's why we have to be emotionally and spiritually, to a level to understand that there's a responsibility in learning how to use these kind of things, and use them in a very conscious way to help society and help the earth. And yeah, and not create damage, because there's also the dark side of it.
Yeah, well, actually, well, we know that there is like this dualism is just a way of showing us what opportunities are out there, what are we going to choose, what do we prefer, and what is the frequency that we want to have the experience of it, right? So
Yes,
then it's like there is no good, no bad, there's always the trinity, there's the neutrality, which is basically the 0 point.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah. um But yeah, it's like, um, yeah, you need to choose if you want to vibrate high or if you want to vibrate low, if you are into
Yes.
service of self or into service of others.
Yes. 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 And you also have to be conscious about your vibration, because sometimes people don't even know that they're vibrating anywhere, high, low, or whatever. They don't know, they don't understand it. So once you get conscious about it, then you start doing conscious decisions towards your own life, and it start transforming. Yes.
Like you did basically with
Yes. It's
this
a
example.
process. Yes, and it's a process. It's a real process, because it a lot of the things I grew up with and everything. I'm 42, and up until now, I'm allowing myself a lot of things that I would never allow before. Never. This was prohibited for me. This was like, devil work. So yeah, no, I mean, completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it's like, everything you see or you project outside of you is basically just what you are ignoring inside of yourself. So it's like there is a lot of this suppressed lower vibrational energy, you know, that leads to this thought that everything that you don't understand and you don't feel and you haven't experienced yet has to be the devil, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And one of the things that we understand later is that the devil is really is really us, like
The
it's
devil
really
and the
us.
angel.
Yeah, so we try to avoid it. We're like, no, 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 I don't want this part. I don't like this part of me. I don't like this shadow self of me. They in psychology they call it the shadow work, and in spirituality we call it the shadow work as well. We have to work with our own shadows. In religion they call it the devil. So we have to basically welcome the demons, and work with them. And it's okay, you're here, what do you need, what do you want, what are you trying to show me? Because basically everything is working towards the good. It's being created, it is there for a reason. Yeah, so
Exactly.
like the yin and yang is there together, and it rolls together, and you know it has to harmonize. Yes.
Exactly. So now, speaking of that,
Hmm.
I would like to dive with you deeper into the chakras. And I know that you prepared a nice presentation for all our viewers today. So I would like to ask you to please share your screen and share with us your knowledge about this.
Yes, definitely, I'm very excited about this. So the thing with the chakras is that I am studying yoga. You can still see me, right? Because I'm trying to share the screen right now.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm studying yoga, right? And a one of the topics that have called my attention is the chakras, right? And this is a topic that is very extensive, but I'm gonna try to give you little hints of it in a like a general presentation of it, right? We can probably talk about more about this on a different, you know, session. But for now, I'm gonna talk about, each chakra, and just to give you like a little overview of it. So let's see here. Oops, I keep creating. Okay, so there we go. You can see it, right?
perfect.
Okay. So that's me. If people wants to follow me, that's fine. YouTube is where I'm gonna be putting a lot of this information and the yoga stuff, the reading tarot cards and everything. Instagram is mainly about my travel adventures. I love traveling. And Facebook, I don't really post much stuff. I'm still trying to get over that conditioning that I have because I have all my family and friends in there. So, but if you want to just have a laugh, because I like jokes and comedy, so I post a lot of jokes and stuff in there. So yeah, that's that. And what is chakra? So you open my book because I have some notes in here. So chakra is a Sanskrit word that means spinning wheel or disc, right? And Sanskrit is the most ancient language of the planet. Some people may argue about this because it's really hard to date how old Sanskrit is and how old other languages are, because it's very hard to date it. But Sanskrit is believed to be the most ancient language on the planet. It originated in India, right? And is mentioned in the Vedas. The Vedas are the books, the holy books that the Indians have, and it's the base of Hinduism, but it's not Hinduism itself. So it's not related to the religion, but Hinduism based their beliefs in the Vedas, if that makes sense. And chakras are spinning wheels that are all over around your body. Okay, so we will see a little bit more about this. The purpose of the chakras are it's so in yoga we understand that prana is like the life source. Life source, it means prana is a Sanskrit word, and prana vibrates and goes all around your body, otherwise you would not be alive, right? So chakras are what the source, or what makes the prana goes and distribute around your body, fluently, so it flows around your body, right? And each chakra is associated with a frequency and a level of awareness. So think about, you see that little guy right down here, it has the nervous system. So think about the nervous system, it's something similar to that. The lotus flower is something that is used in yoga and is very meaningful because the lotus flower grows from the under the water. It roots on the earth under the water, and then it just pull herself out all the way above the water, and then it gets the flower, right? So the chakras are similar to that. It grow the roots, the root chakra. It's grounded to the floor, to the ground, to Mother Earth. And then as you go up, then the chakras start becoming more and more towards the awareness and towards spirituality until you get to the flower, which could be or symbolize the crown chakra, if that makes sense. How many chakras are there? So, well, they're believed to say that we are over 88,000 chakras in the solar body. Isn't it that amazing? So 88,000, more, as many or more, so really the 7 main chakras are the ones that we're going to focus on today. But our body, so think about the nervous system, and in each part of your body that has this sort of energy, so we are energy. Like, there is no other way to explain this, that we are purely energy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So these chakras are these are the main 7 chakras, right? And I posted here, I'm gonna go back. Oh yeah, there we go. 7 chakras, but in reality there are 8, and I'll explain this, as we go. Okay. So these are the main 7 chakras, right? And it starts with the bottom one, which is the root, which is depicted in the color red, right? And it has the lotus flower with 4 petals, right? And the element of this, we'll see this later on too, but the level, the element of this is earth, right? And then we go up and the scale, which is the sacral chakra, and it has the lotus flower with 6 petals, and it's colored orange, right? And then the element is water. The next one will be the solar plexus chakra, and that one is just above the belly button, right? It's between your heart and your sacral chakra. The element is fire, and it has 10 petals, the lotus flower with 10 petals. The color is yellow. Then we have the heart chakra, which is 12 petals, is color green. The element is air. And above that, we have the throat chakra, which is 16 petals. It's right on the throat. The element is air as well. Is that an element? No, that one is the ether. The from these three up here, they're all ether, or spiritual. And that one is 16 petals. I already said that, okay? And the color is blue. And then we have the third eye, which is the purple color, and it's between our eyebrows, and is depicted with the lotus flower with 2 petals. The element is ether, and same thing for the crown chakra, the element is ether. This one has 1,000 petals, and the color is the indigo. Okay, so those are the main basic ones, and these are the ones that we're gonna see today. So I wanted to show you the 8th chakra, which is this I learned through, by studying yoga, and it's called the Bindu chakra. So it's located right behind our head in the hypothalamus area. And that one, what it does is that it connects all the fluids that go down our spine and up our spine, towards it just makes that flow, go up and down fluently. So that's the Bindu chakra. The in Indian or the yoga teachings, they said that the crown chakra is really not considered a chakra. Is just, when the person already aligned everything else, then it just kind of comes with the rest. It complements the rest. So this is another picture of how the Bindu chakra shows in here. And you see how it shows down here where the throat chakra, it goes up and it aligns, with we'll talk a little bit about the Kundalini towards the end, but how the throat chakra opens up that space, and then it goes back and connects to your third eye chakra, and then eventually to your crown chakra. So all of these things are going to connect you with the divine. All right, so now we are going to enter into each chakra individually. We have the root chakra here. So what's the root chakra? So the root chakra is what connects us to earth. It's located right in the perineum area. Perineum is the very bottom of the spinal, our spine. So when you sit in the lotus position, then that's the part that connects to earth. And the root chakra does what it does. It roots us to earth. So it's in charge of material possessions, basic needs, the sense of safety, everything that has to do with the 3D. And when a person has imbalance in the root chakra, so they experience a lot of emotional fear, insecurity, anxiety. They feel like they are blocked. They have a lot of monetary problems or material problems. In the body, it represents, and it feels like digestive progress, everything that's around that area. Lower back pain issues, hip issues, things like that. That's the root chakra. There is something very, very interesting about this. Above down here, I show you the element, the lotus flower, but it also show you the mantra. So one thing that a person can do to balance that chakra is to do the mantra, which is Lam, Lam, Lam. That vibration of the sound will help you open up the chakra and make it spin, without any blocks or anything like that. There are many meditation for the chakras, and I have one in my channel if anybody's interested. Actually, I think I have two, where I go each chakra at the time doing the mantra, and so that the vibration will help you open up and connect and kind of unblock if there's any blockages, or balance that chakra, if that makes sense. So in here, to balance the root chakra, well, what can we do? Is anything that has to do with connectivity with earth, with nature, spending time outdoors. It always for all the chakras, there's gonna be meditation, right? Anything physical that you can do, and also help you with it- have harm like have that harmony with material things. Uh, think about the relationship that you have with money, or the relationship that you had with material work, and work with those kind of things. So that's the root chakra, right? So we go to the next, which is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is associated with more of the emotional body. It has to do with the element of water. Water always has to do with emotions. So this has to do with all our sexual organs. So is the creativity, the creation of it, relationships, the pleasure, fantasy, all everything that has to do with sensuality. So what happens when the sacral chakra is imbalanced? Then the person has a lot of codependency or dependency. It could be on a person, people, or substances. The person is too emotional, is being ruled by emotions, or the contrary, feel very numb, don't have any feelings, don't care about things, overindulge in sexual or fantasies or obsessions. It doesn't have to be sexual, but obsess about things, feeling stuck. The mantra for this one is Van Vam. When you say that, you feel the vibration of it. Vam. And it's located in the coccyx area, so it's just underneath the navel, underneath the belly button, and it has to do, it covers all that area. For us women will be the womb and everything that is sexual organs. For men, it also includes their testicles and everything that is sexual as well. Then we have the how to balance these chakras. So of course meditation is for all of them, right? It consider your relationships with people. If you have any toxic relationships, then consider those relationships. And then also consider the relationship within yourself. How do you see yourself? How do you um yeah, connect with yourself, and how do you see your body and everything. And also, another thing will be to practice a hobby that sparks your creativity, because the sacral chakra has to do a lot with creativity and creating. So even if the person doesn't feel like they are creative, like, let's say, for instance, drawing and painting, or, something like that, but there are a lot of many different things to be creative, like cooking, like helping others, organize the house. There are many, many different things that you can be creative. So, something that connects you with that creativity, creative side of yourself, that helps you balance this chakra, right? Then we have the solar plexus. This chakra is very interesting because I related a lot with I know that a lot of people have talked about narcissist people. So when somebody has imbalance in the solar plexus chakra, it can come out as a narcissist people because they're very manipulative. They over abuse, a um, authority. They are too controlling. They feel or it could be totally the contrary. They feel helpless. They let other people control them, and they give the control of their lives to other people or other entities. um they have lack of ambition. So this chakra is associated with the willpower, the personal power, and mental abilities. A person that has a balanced solar plexus chakra has control over their emotions, and they're a person that is organized, a person that is responsible, is optimistic, but is realistic as well. It has a clear direction on where they're going, So everything that is the contrary for this will be in an imbalance of this chakra. And I feel like in society, and this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like in society, a lot of people are very blocked in the solar plexus chakra. And you can see it a lot, even in people that are in an authoritative position, sometimes they over abuse of that, because they have this imbalance in the solar plexus chakra. The element is fire, which makes sense, is the control and the power, it has 10 petals, excuse me, and the mantra is Ram. Ram. And this is located in the navel area, in the belly button area. So how to balance this solar plexus chakra, aside from meditate, which is always, I would say practice contentment and gratitude. When you practice gratitude, it puts you in a higher vibration all the time, and it would, automatically put you in a different, you could be sad or anything, like it would just automatically put you in a different vibration. So it gets you out of that, power mentality, or that, controlling mentality, once you practice gratitude and contentment as well. And also allow yourself to make mistakes, allow others to make mistakes, and not take things too serious, take responsibility as well. A lot of people don't want to take responsibility for what they say, what they do. They just always try to blame someone else. And also practicing kindness, donating or volunteering or doing something special for someone else, that should also help you balancing the solar plexus chakra. Then after this, we have the heart chakra, and we start like going up in the ladder, and this heart chakra is very interesting, because once you feel it, then the connection is very intense. So the heart chakra has to do everything with love, relationships, compassions, empathy, and it's located right in the center of our chest, right? In acceptance, transformation, and it mainly is the connectivity, with others, with ourselves and others, right? So when there is an imbalanced heart chakra, you will experience difficulties in relating to others, excessive jealousy, codependency, feeling closed down or withdrawn, also depressed. A lot of people feel depressed. They don't feel connected with anything else. They don't want to have to do with anything outside of, their enclosed home. This element is the air. It has 12 petals, and the mantra is Jam, Jam. I practiced this mantra when I was in the ocean, and I cannot tell you the connectivity that I had when I did it. It was amazing because the water was there, and I was like saying, Yeah. And now, oh my God, I cannot, explain to you the vibration of it, because I felt like the water kind of like hugged me, and it was just amazing.
Oh,
So
how
to
cute.
Yes, it's very interesting. So to balance the heart chakra, of course, practice contentment and gratitude. Forgiveness is one of the main things about the heart chakra. And this is one of the hardest things for most people, the forgiveness. And if we can talk about a whole chapter of forgiveness, because this is very, but yeah, forgiveness is something that will get you there. Always meditate, practice kindness, giving, donate, and do something special to others, volunteer, help someone in need, etc. The next one we have, and these are all related to the ether. So, and this from the throat, and the next one will be the third eye, and then the crown chakra. All of those are related to the ether, and these chakras are the ones that will get you connected. Okay, So after you have all those, the other ones, so the bottom ones balance out, then these ones will follow. So the throat chakra has to do with communication, truth, connectivity with spirit, right? So when someone has a throat chakra balance out, the person, communicates things clearly. Even if it's something that, it bothers them, they should communicate. They don't communicate in a way that they feel like they're being offensive, or, they have a very, you know, good communication with others. um they speak the truth, they don't lie. They, so imbalance will be people that lie, they speak too much, and don't say much. You know what I mean? Some people speak too much, and at the end of the day, they don't say too much. They just speak, 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 speak. Excessive fear, or speaking too little. They don't speak much. Not being able to keep secrets, or gossiping, telling lies, or excessive secretness. Shyness, lack of connection. Don't know what purpose they have in life. All of these are related to the throat chakra. And the mantra for this one, it has 16 petals, and the mantra is hum, hum, hum. So that should help you with the throat chakra. Ways to balance the throat chakra will be practice communicating your needs, your desires in a healthy way. And this can be a learning road for some people, because like I told you before, remember the conditioning about how a woman should, keep herself quiet, not say when something bothers them and everything. Then I had a lot of work to do with my throat chakra, because I didn't realize how bad my communication skills were with my partner and other people. I would keep everything to myself. So I was, let's go back in here. I was, keeping everything, speaking too little, excessive fear to say what I needed to say. So I had a lot of blockages in my throat chakra in the past, and I'm still working on those, Um, so, to communicate, I'm not okay with this. I need, time for myself. I need time to relax. I feel like I have too much to do in the house. I need help, or this is not my responsibility. We all live in here, things like that. So, and a lot of women are facing that. I see it online when they make jokes about things, that the women do and the men do. And I say, well, that's part of the throat chakra. We're not communicating, and men don't do those things because, we are, again, we go back to the solar plexus. We are taking control over, whatever. Let's say, for instance, the house. Oh no, I'm not gonna let him do it because he's not gonna do it the right way. So that's been, having imbalance in the in the solar plexus. And then I don't communicate that, so it goes back to the throat chakra because I'm not communicating that stuff. So it everything. Once you start seeing in real life, you're like, oh yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, and at the
So to
bottom, you don't feel safe, and that's the reason you're not able to speak your truth. So,
exactly, yeah, because
because
you're
you're
not
afraid of
trusting.
people. Yes,
Yes, you're not trusting that person. And you're also not
yes.
trusting yourself. You're not trusting source. You're not trusting that everything is given to you. So you have an imbalance on the root chakra, and you feel that you need to be safe. So you try to do. And when you have to also relax and also let things happen, because things will happen anyways. So yes, you're right. You see all those blockages once you start relating one to another, and you're like, oh yes, I do have a little bit of controlling, and I do have a lot of lack communication, and I don't feel really connected with others. I feel like I live with them, but they're like my roommates. So my heart chakra. So things like that. Then you start understanding how it relates to one another, and how you can start making steps towards balancing those chakras so that you can have a harmonious prana, life force going around you and your aura. Because once we start working in ourselves, everything around you will start changing. And this is I mean, I promise you this will happen because it happens to me. I remember we talk about the mirror, and we can talk a little bit about it later, but once you start changing, when you look at a mirror and you're like, wow, my hair is messy, you're not going to start like, changing stuff in the mirror. You start changing stuff on yourself so your hair looks nice, and then you can see the reflection of it. That's the same thing for our life. We start changing, making changes in ourselves, and then our life will reflect that change. If your life is still reflecting something that is not, then that means there's still something that we need to work on. And throat chakra, find a hobby that you like and that will help you express yourself. There's some people that don't speak; they can't speak. They are mute. So they can find a way to communicate: drawing, painting, creating content, writing. They can communicate still in a different way. And don't repress emotions. Allow yourself to feel and express. And express it in a healthy way as well. So we go next to the third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra is located between our eyebrows, so in this area right here. And this has to do with intuition, the feeling that we have that connectivity with the spirit, movement of energy, psychic abilities, access to mystical states, the feeling, the sensations, when you are in fear, or when everything that connects you with the divine, wisdom, insight, creativity. So when somebody has an imbalance in the third eye chakra, they feel stuck. They feel like they have people classify them as they have illusions. So I feel, I mean, I don't want to classify people in one box or another, but I feel like people that are schizophrenic, they probably, and this is my personal opinion, they probably have a third eye chakra blockage, because I feel like these people have a psychic ability that they are not understanding, so they try to block it, and then the blockages make them see illusions, things like that. And it may not be an illusion, but it can be considered like that, by science. So rejection of spiritual things, people that are like, oh, I don't believe in any of that stuff, or they have a lot of lack of clarity of what they do, they just go with the flow, or they don't really have much going on, they don't really care about much. So the element is ether. The petal has the lotus flower has two petals, and the mantra is the om. When you said that chanting om, it connects you, and it also balances out your all other chakras. Om. You can feel it in your vibration. Once you do it connects you. So this is something interesting. When your third eye opens up, you will know it, because I remember at the beginning, I'm like, I wonder if my third eye chakra is open, and I never knew it, and all this stuff. Once it's open, you will know it. Especially, and now I started feeling like, you feel like a vibration in this area. So sometimes I'm like, I'm like speaking to somebody, and then all of a sudden I start feeling that vibration. So I know that the divine is trying to connect with me in some point. I know that maybe there's something in there that I need to pay attention. Or when I've listened to, let's say for instance, I'm listening to a medium, and then all of a sudden I feel this, but because it's the connection with the divine, because I've been practicing this for so long, I've been meditating for so long, that now to me it just, I feel this, I feel the senses. You feel the energy of the people, and you feel like the third eye, kind of telling you there, oh, there is something here that is divine. So once you have the third eye open, you feel that, and when it's in balance, we can practice balancing all the other chakras first, and then that one will come along. Because if you think about it, you know this is, remember the lotus flower, so you have to start with rooting yourself up, working yourself with the creativity and the connection with your sexuality and the everything else that has to do with emotions. And then you have to work with your power and how you control, that if you're too controlling or you're letting just people do whatever, and then you have to work with the relationships and how you relate with other people and how you love and then how you communicate so that you can get to this one and, have it balanced. So, you know, making a habits like meditation, and it doesn't matter, whatever you feel most connected to. You can use candles, you can use, I don't know, prayers, or if you want to go to a church, or whatever gets you into that habit of to connect with the divine, then it's going to help you balance this chakra. That's why a lot of people that experience spiritual things and they don't understand it because they have a blockage in this chakra. So let's say, for instance, people that have a psychic ability and that is very well developed and they don't understand it. They're like, oh, I can see ghosts or I can hear voices, things like that. Then once these people go to a spiritual center, they feel peace because that's what they need. That's what their body needs. The body needs to balance out in order for them to understand what's happening on the other side and why they have that connection with the divine. So everything that has to do with psychic abilities is with the third eye. Once you open up your third eye and you work on it, then your psychic abilities start to develop more and more and more. And you start to understand, which psychic abilities are those, I don't know them by name exactly, clairvoyance and all those names, but for me, the one that starts up the most is the sensations, the feelings. I feel first, when I'm speaking to somebody and oh, I feel it in my body and I feel the emotions. So there's been some tarot readings that I have done where I ended up crying because I started feeling the feelings of that person. And then I tell them the emotions, I feel them, and then I tell them, okay, I need to cry because I'm feeling you right now. And then I do some grounding things that, to help myself not absorb those energies, but just to let them flow through me, and then, out they go. So yeah, the third eye is very interesting, and the third eye is something that a lot of people talk, but uh know and understand that everything has a process and we can jump into oh no, I just want to open my third eye. No, you need to get yourself ready for that. So yes. And then the
Yeah, I
next one
wanted
is
to
the
share something with you
yes, tell me.
shortly because you were talking about people who experience how was it called, the psychiatric
Oh,
this disease you just mentioned,
schizophrenic.
schizophrenia, right?
Mm-hmm.
There has been research conducted on people with schizophrenia. There is one specific doctor I'm thinking of. He also wrote a book about his studies. He's conducted a lot of them. And one specific that I remember was this woman who had one personality that was blind from birth, right? So the difference between a person who is blind from birth and a person who became blind, like there is a difference, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And with this person who was born that way, if you present strong lights and flickers to this eye ball of this person, it will not show any movement of any kind, right? Whereas
Mm-hmm.
if somebody is acting as if they didn't
If they're
see,
blind.
so now you know
Yeah.
where I'm
Your
going.
your body won't lie. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So whether there is some reaction in the eye, it will
Mm-hmm.
show the flickering, right? In the
Yes.
measurement. And if there
Yes.
is nothing, it will also show, right?
Yes.
So they were measuring her as her, you know, with the
Yes.
flickering and measuring everything, and everything was normal, you know, as they
Yes.
expected it.
Yes.
Okay. They waited. This personality came out that was blind from birth. They
Yes.
placed her in the same place. They did the same measurements, the same flickering lights,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is she accessing a parallel timeline, a parallel life,
Yes. Well,
whatever?
let me tell you something that I have experienced with this spiritual center in Brazil. So they have mediums that they communicate messages, from the spiritual realm to the people, right? And when they do their meetings, they have a medium that, gets herself in the mediumship mode. I don't know, for lack of a better word. And then, they get,
Into the
they
channeling state.
into the channeling state. Yes. So in this case, it's a medium, and in this particular medium, she gets herself, situated, and then you see that her breathing changes. She's when she gets, the contact, right? Her breathing changes, and then sometimes she opens her eyes. Sometimes, depending on the spirit that comes, sometimes she opens her eyes, sometimes she doesn't, right? When she opens the eyes, and she's looking, because this is all online. I haven't been in Brazil to the spiritual center. This is all online, right? She opens her eyes and she's looking at the computer, directly. She never blinks, not even for a second. And these messages are like 10 minutes long, and she never blinks. Her eyes are like, and she can see, and I'm saying she, but it's actually the entity that is taking over, and you feel well, I do feel the vibration, because I know that that's one of my psychic abilities, is the feeling, you know so I feel, you feel that this is something that is there, that is, and you feel it, and you feel that it fills you up, and the messages, it vibrates in your body. So yes, I feel like these people that are schizophrenic, they are mediums, and they don't understand what's happening to them, because they have these blockages, right here. And once they figure that out, then these people can come out with like amazing things for the humanity. you know so I wish, hopefully somebody that is schizophrenic and is listening to us, hopefully that clicks in them, be like, I want to learn about this, because this will open up a whole new world for you. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not, I just love these topics.
Yeah.
But
Disclaimer.
yes, yes. But, I have children with special needs. They don't speak, and I have one that, aside from not speaking, he's also autistic. And I feel like I have a lot of telepathic communication with them, and it's so strong that sometimes I play games. I said, okay, I'm gonna think, one of them, the one that's autistic, I say in my mind, Gigi, we call him Gigi. Gigi, come over here, and he comes. So
Yeah,
I
klar.
feel I play games like that, and sometimes I feel like they communicate within one another, because one is laughing and the other one is completely away from the other one and it's laughing too, So, and they're triplets, so they share that connectivity as well. So it's very interesting. This whole thing
Awesome.
is, yes, yes. So I has a mom of special need children, and if somebody's here that it feels that that they are blind, they're deaf, they can, mute, or they have something, schizophrenic, or some depression, anything that has to do with your mind, you know anything. And that's why it's in this area, everything that has to do with your mind, things that psychotic behavior, ADHD, everything that has to do with that is because you have a psychic ability that you haven't explored, you know and once you make that click, then things are going to get easier for you. Yes,
Well,
I
if
feel
people
like
are
that's,
interested in those topics, then yeah, let us
yes.
know in the comments below. Because there's also a bunch of other information. Like, for example, it's really interesting that you're saying that you didn't know about those differences. And there are actually different boxes that you put all those things into, you know? For example, in the Institute of Noetic Sciences, Dr. Babel, she differentiates, as she gives all of those abilities term of ESP, extra sensory, and then
Uh-huh.
P, perception,
Okay.
extrasensory perception.
Mhm.
And then she also, differentiates between channeling and all those other subtypes. So if people are
Okay.
interested in those kind of topics, they can let us know in the comments below. So
Yes.
let's continue with the next chakra. I'm already getting excited.
Yes. The next chakra is the crown chakra, just in our crown. Um, think about when a baby is born, how all of this is super flexible, to go through the vaginal channel, the skull gets in a cone shape, and it's the first thing that comes out, right? So that is the connection with the divine. They say, okay, in Spanish, we say give light, dar a luz when a woman, goes through the birthing process. We said they just gave light, Isn't it that interesting? Because is in spirituality is believed that the soul enters the baby body when the woman is given birth. In the spiritual center that I study with the Brazilians, they believe that the soul, when the mother has the baby in the womb, the soul is surrounding the mother, but it's still not inside the baby. Sometimes it's inside, sometimes it's not. But mainly the soul is still wandering around and seeing their mind. But that's why a lot sometimes the kids in my dad is an example of this. Sometimes this is why the kids can remember things that the parents did even before they were born. So I'm going to give you an example of this. My dad, and he told me this story a couple years ago. He said that he remembers a house that my grandparents lived before he was born, and he described the home in exact detail to them. And he told them, "Yeah, you guys were living in here," or he was including himself, right? We were living here, and we had this, and the house was like this and that. And my grandmother was like, "But you weren't even born then." Because that's why, and also in spirituality we believe that we choose our parents, so we are surrounding them, and we see a lot of these things, so we're waiting for that person to get pregnant, and then decide to come to this world. So once the mom goes to the birthing process, right, we call it in Spanish dar a luz, give light. The mother give light to the baby, so that light comes, through the crown chakra. So it's the connection with the divine, is how we connect, with everything out there. And now we're talking about the seven chakras, right? But if you go through other studies, then it goes up. There are more chakras up there that connects us even more further, right? But so far, this is what we're going to talk about right now. So the connection, once you have this crown chakra open, you know in because you align with everything else, then this one open up automatically, right? Then you have the realization, you understand that everything is one, and that you are connected with everything, that everything that you do matters, everything that you think matters, then you have kindness towards others, then you have that connectivity with nature. You have a lot of respect for life, and a lot of respect, you understand the connectivity with everything. And then you have communion, you feel like everything, the consciousness, ecstasy, bliss, you have this sense of bliss. Imbalance in this crown chakra is completely disconnection with the spirit, with body, with your own body. A lot of cynicism, And people that are too mental, they live in their head. They constantly like, going over problems, going over, close-minded, they don't believe, all of that stuff is related to the crown chakra as well as the third eye. This one is represented with the 1,000 petals in the lotus flower. And the chanting is Aum. We're starting with the A, Aum, with the A, with the A in Spanish, A, Aum. It complements the Om, so it's Aum. So it balances out. And this is we're gonna go to the cherry on the cake because this a lot of people don't know, and this was something that was new to me completely. But this is very, very interesting. Are you ready for this? Because this
Okay,
is
hit
gonna
me.
talk. I know, right? This is gonna talk about the Kundalini process. What is the Kundalini process? Why is everybody talking about this, and how do we get okay? So finally, by studying yoga, I began to understand this now. So this is all the balancing the crown chakra, and meditation, everything that we talk about, connectivity with others, connectivity with nature, and balance your other chakras, etc. Another thing that has worked for me is have conversations with your higher self, with your angels, with your spirit guides, with God, whoever you connect to. Have conversations with them, and recognize that you're a greater being. That what makes you special is because you're here on Earth. You're here on Earth to do something. You're not here to, just pass life and just reincarnate. No, you're here because you have a purpose to be here. And I have heard that everybody that's in here are because we're master manifestators. So believe in your own power, believe that you are a powerful being. And if you have problems with that power, remember it's the solar plexus, If you are over abusing that power, then, balance your solar plexus chakra. So yes, this is the cherry on the cake. So these are the nadis. Nadis is another Sanskrit word. I don't have the direct translation for nadis, right? But think about it as nerves, right? So these, there are many, many different nerves or nadis around the body, that connects, our whole body, right? But we're gonna talk about the three main ones. So let's think about, let's say, the electricity connection, with the power lines, right? And we have power lines that goes to the houses and goes to the hospitals and everything else. But there's got to be three main antennas, three main power generators that are the ones that bring the power to everything else, right? These are the three main nadis that we have in our body, which is the Ida, Pingala, and Sushuma, right? These are all Sanskrit words, right? So don't get too tangled about the words and what is that and all that stuff. No. Okay, so the nadis are channels or passages, that makes okay. So nada means flow, right? And they're sort of flows of vibration, right? So it penetrates the body through the soles of the feet or the hands, and it carries the prana, the life force, through our body. So we have nadis everywhere, when we breathe, we bring in life source into us, prana, right? There are many different nadis in our body, right? And they're like strands of thread, like the nerves, right? When the nadis are purified, there is say that we will have perfect health. So this is see how important it is, to have a balanced life, a balance in our life. So out of these nadis, we have the three most principal one, the Ira, Pingala, and Sushuma, right? And I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names, but that's how I can read it, right? And in addition to these three, there are seven more that are mentioned later, in the scriptures, and I'm gonna just mention it briefly. One goes to the left eye, the other one goes to the right eye. Same thing for the ears, and then it goes through one goes connect to the anus, and it's basically where we perceive, where we receive, eyes, nose, mouth, things like that. Reproductive organs, the splinters of the anus and the splinter of the utera and all that. So the item, it starts here in the base of the spine, where the root chakra is, and it travels spirally. You see how it goes up in a spiral mode from the left side up to the left nostril, right? Up to the left nostril. And then same thing for the other one, which is the pingala, right? It starts from the bottom of the right side of the bottom of the spine, and it travels spirally up to the right side of the nostril, right? And then we have the item, which travel upwards, up until the crown chakra. So what these do is once we balance out these three nerves or these three nadis, then that's when a person experiences the Kundalini awakening. Because this will bring perfect balance in your body, in perfect health. And then you have no blockages. Everything flows naturally from up and down. So you will hear in a lot of different metaphysic topics Kundalini awakening, the Cobra awakening, the Dragon awakening, because it since it spirals up, then people relate it to like a cobra or like a snake, you know. So in a lot of different teachings and metaphysics, you will hear it in different ways, but that's what they mean with the Kundalini awakening.
Yeah,
There is a
yeah.
breathing technique in yoga that you start inhaling on one nostril, exhaling in the other. That's another one breathing technique. And there, my presentation stops here, but later on, as I go through my studies even deeper, then you start learning about breathing techniques and not just breathing techniques, also postures and things that you can do to allow yourself to close that chakra so that the energy can accumulate there and then eventually open it up to let it flow. Or if you have experiencing a closure in that chakra, to allow it to open. So there are many different techniques that you can do through yoga. And I know that a lot of yoga studios may teach a little bit of this in there, just like kind of like on the top, on the surface. But I love learning about this. So hopefully when I start teaching yoga, I want to teach people how to do these techniques so that they can kind of unblock their chakras, or they can kind of, it's called, actually, I was reading about this recently. It's the mudras. It's called the mudras and bandas. So mudras and bandas. Mudras, the ones that most people know is the ones that you can do with your hands. When you do things with your hands, with the yogi mudra, things like that. But the bandas and the mudras combine in combination with meditation and the breathing techniques, it helps you align all those chakras. And that's another topic. Because it's super expensive and it also requires people to practice, like, okay, you have to, you know, get your ear in and tie your abdomen because we're going to work with the solar plexus, for instance, or things like that. There's a specific bandas that you can do to, you know, to work with the flow of prana, of life force around your body and all your chakras. And let's not forget about the other rest of the chakras around your body. You know, your hands have a lot of chakras in here. That's why a lot of people can heal with their hands. That's why in churches they use the imposture of the hands, because they understand this. This is ancient knowledge. They understand all these things, but they don't explicitly tell people this way. Okay, well, when you impose your hands on your child or someone you love, you're bringing even yourself. If you can practice this right now, rub your hands, open it a little bit, and you feel the energy. Don't you feel the energy there? Yes, in
And
yoga with
if you take it a little bit
yeah,
out, you also
yeah,
feel the tension,
expands the
how it
tension, the
variates, right?
vibration. Yes. So
Exactly.
in yoga, we start rubbing the hands, and then we apply it in our eyes, our face, and then our body. So that's a good way to start. You bring that. We are energy. I mean, I don't know how else I can say it. This is, it's epic here. Like you can see it. We are pure energy.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's also a way to reset yourself a little bit, you know?
Yes. Yes.
You can
If
also
you
reset yourself, your own energy
Oh,
field.
that's right. Reiki does that thing of resetting themselves and using those energy centers. That's right. Yes, yes. I know that little bit about Reiki. Um, Going outside in nature, barefoot, that connects you with your
Yes.
root chakra. That's the connectivity.
Thanks for your presentation. That was awesome.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes.
So, Celia, I will be linking your data below, your Instagram, your Facebook. I'll also add your YouTube for the people to check you out. And yeah, for the Spanish speakers, um, we're also gonna add the group that you're working with right now because you're offering your service right now for free for Spanish speaking people. Maybe you can.
Yes, that's the workshops I'm gonna start in January. And I'm going to cover a lot of topics, emotions, the chakras, yoga. I mean, a lot of these metaphysical channeling, mediumship, all of these things that I love, metaphysical topics. Yes, and I love psychology as well. So I forgot to mention about bioenergy in relationship with the chakras, because in bioenergy, just to give you a small example, in bioenergy, it tells you that when you are experiencing problems with money or anything material or insecurity, then you have a lot of lower back pain, right? Well, what's
Okay.
in there is the root chakra, which has to do with the security, with the material world. So see how everything relates to one another. So once I just don't get into one thing. I like learning about everything. I'm very passionate when I learn. I'm a Scorpio, so once I get into something, I just want to learn everything about it. So um once I start learning about something and then I connect it with something else, and I'm sure you do that also with Reiki and everything else, that you're like, oh yeah, I learned about this in Reiki or I learned about this in something else, and I heard about that in this book. So you start connecting everything else, and then you start seeing that really it doesn't matter if it's under the yoga or if it's under tarot or if it's under a church. Then it's knowledge that is given to us, and it's knowledge that it all connects. It's one truth, one single truth.
Exactly. So, Celia, thank you again for being here today. I appreciate you so much. And I'm looking forward to the next episode with you.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. If you want me to do a reading or you know anything that you want to explore, I'm happy to do so. I don't know if you want me to pull one card for the collective that are listening.
Ooh, okay, the final message. Let's live with the
Yes.
final message.
So I recently got this deck. I went to a used book place and it was sitting there, and I saw it and I was like, interesting. And it seems very brand new. the book seems like it, nobody has even touched it or anything. I didn't realize that it's a collection of only 1,000. I don't know if you can read. It's probably a little pixelated, but they only created 1,000 of this. And then yesterday, when I was trying to channeling communication from my guys, I heard that this was meant, to find me. So, and it was there. It's a used one, but it doesn't seem that it was even used at all. It just seems that, you know, somebody bought it and probably never used it. All right. So I like to pull out one card for the collective in the that will be watching this video, so that message can come across that to the people that really needs it. Oh, we got the devil card.
Awesome.
So the devil card is very interesting because we talked about shadows before, right? And how we need to welcome our demons around just to work with them, right? So this is telling me that probably the collective that is listening to right now uh, needs to do a lot of some shadow work and also welcoming the demons and to stop being afraid of this. This is trying to teach us something and it's here for our good. So if you're facing a hard situation, if you're facing a situation of power, solar plexus, where somebody's being narcissistic in your area or you're being narcissistic, let's just be honest, then we need to work on that kind of stuff, you know and also this talks about people, if you are getting a new job or if you are getting into a new adventure, business wise, it's telling you that you're going to have a lot of monetary success with this. So it's not just negative, in the fact of like working and doing a lot of shadow work, but it also tells us that, monetary wise, we'll do good. And if you, I'm just trying to see what else I can grasp from this imagery here. Look at this card and pay attention how the demon is just sitting there, kind of like guarding the people that are here. There's a woman that is laying down and is sleeping, and this guy is just totally ignoring everything else. And he's just sitting here. He doesn't even have an evil look on him. I don't know if you can see it.
Observant and vigilant.
Yes, he's kind of like just there, like kind of like taking care of these people. So let's not just see our shadows like something that has our enemy. It could be there protecting us from something. So sometimes when something happen in our life that we see it as negative, oh, why did I lose this job? Oh, my relationship just ended. I really love her. I really love him. Oh, it could be for something greater and something good that is happening to us. And we are, you know, putting that ugly face in, but it's really there for protecting us. So, sometimes seeing the negative may not be as pretty because this woman is trying to, she's sleeping. She just like doesn't wanna, and he doesn't wanna see it. But sometimes it's just a matter of like, being responsible, working our solar plex. Maybe there's a lot of people in this collective that need to work in the solar plexus. We have to be honest with one another and see once, this is your message of or your sign that it's time to work on that. Yes.
Awesome. Thank
Very
you very
interesting.
much. And adding to that, Lucifer is the light bearer. He's the light bringer. It is the first light that sparkles in the morning when it's dawning, when the sun is rising, the
Yes,
first bits of light.
that's true.
And
That's the,
what
the
is
meaning of
that? Exactly. That's showing you basically all the stuff, it's showing you it's coming from the darkness into
Yes.
the light. So first you need
Yes.
to notice it, see it. If there is no light, you're not going to be able to see it. And then
Yes.
you see, and then you can act, you can change, you can transform, you can transmute, you can create.
Yes. Yes. And be awake, because a lot of people are sleeping throughout that time, like that woman was. Be awake. What's interesting here is that at the bottom of the deck is the magician. And the magician is a person that completely understands their power. So once we realize, and work with our demons, then we become the magician. We understand that we are creators. We understand that we are alchemists, that we can transform energies, that whatever is out there that we seem bad, it may not be as bad as we think. It might be there for our own good. So yes, yes, very interesting, huh?
Thank you, Celia. Again, I wish you a very amazing, beautiful evening.
Thank you so much,
Namaste.
and thank you for everybody that have stayed with us. I'm looking forward to meeting you all, and yeah, follow me. Come up with questions or anything. I'll be happy to answer or guide you if I can. I don't know everything, but I will try my best to. If I can help you, then I will.